Come back for seconds. Not sloppy.
Welcome everyone to a little bit of a different Crack School, Wide Boyz, Tom and Pete episode. If you can imagine, right now you're here with us at a campfire in, where would we be? The White Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in a campfire.
No. Whoa. We can't have fires down there.
Oh, we can't have fires down there, can we?
No.
Okay, we're in a campfire.
We're in the campfire.
We're in a campfire
In it.
in Sheffield city centre.
Yes.
Post-apocalyptic.
Yeah.
And we're discussing, as we do in all things in life, crack. We're talking about
Climbing.
crack techniques, climbing, everything. Except we've got all of your questions that you've been asking us about crack climbing, and we're going to talk about those in a sort of interview Q&A style. Does that sound good? Does that sound good?
It's fine. See what they say. Can you hear them? Yes.
Oh, no. Should we just do it anyway?
Yeah, let's crack on.
Okay, fine. Who wants to start?
You go.
Okay, I'm going. So,
Hit me up.
question 1. And this is to Pete, not to you. Jamming can be painful. Any tips on technique to reduce the pain, or am I just weak?
Well, usually if there is a bit of pain, then, or if there's let's say if there's a lot of pain, if there's a lot of pain, you're probably doing it wrong, I would say. But if there's a little bit of pain, that is common, I would say, you know? Mm-hmm. You are going to get a little bit of discomfort if you haven't done it much. It's like if you went to the climbing wall for the first time and you climbed on the resin holds that you find at the climbing gym, your skin is going to get sore, you know? Things are going to get sore. Yeah. It's like crack climbing. If you haven't done it very much, it is going to be a little bit sore. But there are things that you can do to help prevent this. Mm-hmm. Tape up.
Yep, good one.
And wear the correct clothing.
Yeah, that's probably a bit...
I mean...
That's what it comes down to, really, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And do it a lot.
And do it a lot.
Because then the pain goes down.
Yeah. Just numb it away.
Yeah, so as Pete said, numb it away and wear the right protection.
Yeah, always wear the right protection. Always be protected.
Thanks, Pete. That was a good start.
Good start. Climbing very flared offwidths from wider than stacks at... This isn't even a question. Climbing very flared offwidths from wider than stacks at entrance to narrow at the back. So basically a flared offwidth at the front, narrow at the back. How do you climb it?
Flared at the front, narrow at the back. Okay. So this is something you get quite a lot on granite. I wouldn't say so much on sandstone. And really the trick with this is to differentiate the techniques that you use on the widest stuff, i.e. at the entrance to the crack, which would be your chicken wings and your arm bars, and getting your hip and your shoulder into the crack. But then at the back of the crack, using the more secure jams, like just typical foot jams that you might use in a hand crack, or even sliding one of the hands, i.e. the inside hand in the crack, all the way to the back where it narrows, and using a hand jam. So it's like a weird combo of hand jam in the back, chicken wing kind of gassed on shoulder in the front, and some heel toe action on the edge of the crack. That's what I...
And maybe some foot jamming in the back with the inside foot.
Yeah.
And we've got a name for... Can you remember that old name of when you're in that flared crack and you're reaching back to like the fist jam or the hand jam really far in the crack?
I think this brings back memories of 2011. I'm going to say dung hunting.
Yeah. The dung, hunting for dung.
Hunting for dung.
Hunting for dung. Yeah.
So
you're just reaching right into the back there to find the feces.
Don't Google that, please. Next question.
Next question. Am I asking you or are you asking me?
I think I'm asking you. I got a little bit distracted then. How do you crack climb in corners?
How do you crack climb in corners?
Yeah, I think I'm going to keep it as simple as that. There's another little extra on that, but let's go.
How do you crack climb in corners? I guess there's a few ways. I mean, you can either just do straight in normal technique. So you might just be purely imagining that the crack climb is a crack climb on a face. and you just go your pure technique. And yes, you'll get a bit of, say if we're climbing in a left-hand corner, yeah, you're going to get a bit of friction on the left-hand side and not necessarily on the right, but you can do that. The other way would be to go more of a layback style, like using jamming techniques, but laybacking. So let's say it was a hand crack in a corner, hand jamming in the crack, and then using your wrists and forearms to get a bit of friction on the edge of the crack. And then sort of, I always call it like rand smearing. So rand smearing with your foot, and then potentially like edging or smearing with your other foot. Going for a layback technique, but jamming.
Yeah.
And then I guess the other one is going for more of like a shuffling technique. So maybe if you're tired or like you feel like you need some more security, it's sort of like leaning into the corner and sort of climbing palms to the corner, so your body sort of like swings in and you end up getting lots of sort of friction. Lots of friction. So you have an option of lots of friction, a little bit of friction but like easy moving, and then the laybacking option, not much friction but easy quick moving but less secure.
I mean, I think I'd say that a lot of the time it's just a combo of all three, and particularly on hard cracks. Like I can think about one that we did over in the States in the last year or so, which was a big steep overhanging corner, and we basically used a combination of all three of those depending on whether it was the crux, whether we wanted to get a rest, or as a really steady section on the route. Cool question.
Good, excellent. What have we got next? We have, should we tape up, use crack gloves, or should we tape up or use crack gloves while using Wide Boyz volumes, or just jam better?
I would say initially, when you first start crack climbing, it's 100% of the time you want to use either crack gloves or tape. I think one has a convenience factor, i.e. if you have crack gloves, they're just quicker to get on and off. They cost a bit more, obviously, to buy. Tape's cheaper in the short term, and you can reuse it and you can kind of modify the glove that you use. But with time, and this comes with experience, I think it's worthwhile doing some climbing on really smooth surfaces where you're not going to get massive flappers. So like with our Wide Boyz volumes that we make, they're much softer inside, so you should do some climbing on with no tape, because I think it roughens up and it toughens the skin a little bit. But just be really careful about not getting to the point where you break your skin, because I think if you look at both mine and yours hands...
broken the skin too many times.
I mean, I've got some proper scars now that just go every time in the same place. And I really regret that. So,
Good.
Okay, how do I get started with crack climbing? What's the best starting point?
Best starting point with crack climbing? Try and find some of our volumes down the climbing wall, really.
Great suggestion. I'm going to give him brownie points for that one.
I mean, it depends where you are. I mean, if you're in Sheffield, the depot's got some great place for crack climbing. But if you don't have access to sort of indoor crack climbing, then you're going to have to go outdoors. I mean, it's just finding places with cracks, isn't it?
So sandstone?
Sandstone,
good option.
And we always say that bouldering is a good place to start, isn't it? To actually like practice the techniques. You can stay low to the ground, you can like stand on the ground, figure out what you're doing, and just to like have...
And it's kind of motivating with partners as well. Because you all try and you kind of get the same miserable, hard experience first of all, where everyone can like laugh at each other, but you're just, a foot off the ground and you just kind of encourage each other along.
Bouldering.
So bouldering, sandstone, and
volumes.
Indoors. It's your turn, isn't it?
My turn to ask you, where are we? How do you get started? Why does crack climbing hurt my feet so much? Is it soft shoes?
Why does crack climbing... It could be soft shoes. I would normally say that it's just down to the fact that you're not adjusted to the discomfort that occurs in your feet when you're using them crack. That's normally the first starting point, only because I say this every year. I take some time away from crack climbing and I might not do it for a number of months. And when I come back to it, it always hurts. And the number of times I've said to Pete and gone, I just had my first session in the cellar for the year. And I'm going, my feet are killing. And I know how to climb down in the cellar, and I know it really well, but it still really hurts. And then secondly is just using a slightly stiffer shoe sometimes does help, but it's hard to say for sure. Sometimes soft's good, sometimes stiff's good. It's quite variable.
Not downturned actually as well.
Yeah,
not downturned, because obviously if you got downturned shoe and you're like pushing your feet in the crack and then all the tops of your knuckles of your toes are pointing out on the shoe, it's going to just be like rubbing really badly and awful scenes. So yeah. Is it me? No.
I think it's mine. I'm going to ask you.
You ask me.
Yeah. So best way to climb a 45-degree overhanging crack, which is hand stacks. So that's about 4 inches, 4.5 inches.
And hand stacks, so like we're talking butterflies here.
So butterflies, so bigger than a fist.
Bigger than a fist.
And you can't get a hip in and you can't get a knee in.
Yeah. I guess there's 2 options for this. You can either do the old wide pony. So that would be, we can give a little demo really, can't we?
Don't know how good's your medicine ball. How good?
We can go, if we imagine we're in a 45-degree crack, we can either go this way with our feet. Our bottom foot is going to be lower and our top foot is going to be up there.
So cracks like this.
The cracks like that. And then usually if you're in 45, you don't want to be sitting up right up here. You want to be down by this foot with your stack, or even sometimes lower than your bottom foot, so down here. And then again, you're holding with this, pushing with this one, holding with this, moving your hand, blah, 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 that kind of stuff. Or you can also do it, if the crack is a little bit narrower, you can also do this trench foot thing where you go foot this way and then toe in this way as well. So you're climbing it like that.
Like the crack.
So you're like that. Yeah, like that. But that only works if the crack's slightly narrower, or else this top foot doesn't jam very well. So slightly wider, wide pony, slightly narrower, the old trench foot.
Yeah, I think I would agree. For me personally, I don't really like the trench foot very much. It always feels a little bit insecure and I'm not so keen with it. So that's both those toes pointing the same direction. I do like to go wide pony. And
you like a good wide pony.
I do like a wide pony. It's too much training for Century.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That's the thing. And I always find that, how the width of your boot as well is quite variable. So you'll find with some of the high top shoes, the width around the kind of middle point on your shoe can be quite wide. So look through the shoes that you have available to you and you'll see that some shoes are a bit narrower and that really helps with that, I find.
Yeah, so you can get your foot the whole way in. Next question. Next questione. Is it normal to feel some pain from finger hyperextension during hand jamming? And then has that got a full? And then it says beginner.
Okay, so
finger hyperextension.
I think what this person is referring to here is that when you're jamming against one, so this side here is the crack, and I've got my hand jam here against on the inside of the crack, is that these fingers here at the ends are hyperextending, and they're moving beyond a kind of 180 degree angle into 170, 160, and they're getting pain in their fingers here. And I think, is it normal? So it's certainly something that I've heard of a number of times, and I've seen it when I've been teaching people crack climbing, or when I've seen people down the wall practicing their crack climbing. And in a way, it comes down to just stopping before it becomes too painful. So there is that difference between discomfort and pain. And in this case, I would say that you can go to the point where you have discomfort, and it might be quite a normal thing associated with the hand jamming, but if it's painful, then you definitely want to stop it. And I certainly have it where if I have very long sessions, then I start to pick up a little bit of pain in my fingers in that manner with really hard hand jamming, so I'll just stop. But initially, it's just a bit of discomfort, and it's not a big deal for me, but I am very adjusted to crack climbing, and that's kind of what I've seen with it, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's like with any injury, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just don't push it too far.
Don't go to the pain point.
Yeah.
And if it's painful instantly,
don't overcook it.
Then probably going to have some issues and it's not appropriate for you to be doing. And it's that simple. There should be no sporting activity that we do that's painful straight away, especially on tendons and ligaments. That isn't a good way to go.
Shall we wrap it up at that?
Yep, let's get a good wrap on it.
Get a good wrap, another wrap, different wrap.
We could put it on the fire afterwards as well.
Yeah, we could actually. That's a great idea. Yeah, toast it up a little bit. But maybe we'll finish the rest of the questions in a second vlog.
Yeah.
Second crack school
Come back
question.
Come back for part 2.
Come back for part 2.
If you're not too bored.
Yeah. Yeah. Subscribe in and come back for 2. Come back for seconds. Not sloppy. Don't say that. Cut!